We recently did a cordless reciprocating saw head-to-head test where we took 10 different reciprocating saws, all using one battery ranging between the 18 and 22 volt range. We felt it was important to get the lineup of models using that same voltage range because it gives the most fair side-by-side comparison. While we still feel that was the right thing to do and made for a great review, many readers commented and felt strongly that we really should have included the DeWalt 60 volt flex volt saw as well as Makita's X2 18 volt reciprocating saw. So we decided to take the winner of the first saw, which was the Milwaukee M18 fuel sawzall, and pit it up against two higher voltage saws, the DeWalt flex volt 60 volt and the Makita 36 volt. We're calling this the battle of the high capacity cordless reciprocating saws. We all know that reciprocating saws are one of the most widely used tools in the trade. So, did the Milwaukee sawzall using one 18 volt platform battery beat or keep up with the high voltage saws? Let's find out. First of all, let's talk about the lineup, the reciprocating saw lineup. We looked at the DeWalt DCS 388B, their 60 volt brushless motor with a 9 amp hour battery. The saw has an 1.8" stroke, 0 to 300 strokes per minute, and weighs 10.1 pounds. We looked at the Makita XRJ06Z. Again, brushless motor, uses two 18 volt batteries, 5 amp hour batteries, 1.25" stroke, 0 to 3,000 strokes per minute, 10.2 pounds. We looked at the Milwaukee Fuel 27-21-20, a brushless motor, 1 9 amp hour battery, 1.1" stroke, 0 to 3,000 strokes per minute, 7.4 pounds, much lighter. For our evaluation, we developed speed tests, and we wanted something relevant to the core trade. So we looked at a test for plumbing and heating contractors, we looked at a test for electricians, and we wanted something for guys like me, general construction, demolition. The test that we developed included 3/4 gas pipe cutting, which is obviously relevant to the plumbers and heating contractors. We used a 6-inch Lennox 14 tooth per inch blade designed for thick metal in each saw, and we took the average time for 5 cuts. We did the tests several times. Note that some of the pictures and video you'll see some Diablo blades. We ran the test first with the Diablo blades, and then decided we wanted to use the same exact blades that we used for the first test, so we swapped back out. We did a 1/2" EMT conduit test, which simulates a test that electricians do on a regular basis. And for that test, we looked at the 6-inch Makita 14 tooth per inch tooth TPI bimetal blade for that saw. And again, 5 cuts, average speed. Then we did a nail embedded test where we took 4 2x10 joists put together with 5 16-penny nails in each joists. Total of 20 16-penny nails. And look, that's going to simulate a super heavy duty demolition cutting. For that test, we used the 9-inch Milwaukee Axe carbide tooth 5 TPI blade. And that's designed for nail embedded wood. 1 blade each saw, 5 cuts. In an effort to kind of keep similar cutting pressure, we hung an 11-pound weight from a rope that we basically situated on the forward grip of each saw. And that just would simulate a little bit of down pressure. All the testers were allowed to start the cut with both hands until it got started, and then let the weight kind of carry or pull the blade through the cut. This method was used on every test we did that was a cutting test. Also, we talked about variable speed options because some of the saws have different features. We performed all tests at the highest speed setting allowed from the factory. So let's talk about the test results. For the 3/4 inch gas pipe testing, the winner was the Makita. That's the XRJ06Z. Makita came out on top of this test with an average cut time of 3 seconds. That's fast. All 3 saws boast the same speed, but the Makita has a slightly longer blade stroke, and that's an 1.25 inch stroke. And the results were within about 10% of each other for all 3 sides, all 3 saws. So they obviously performed pretty closely. As far as the 1/2" EMT test, it was a tie between the Milwaukee and the Makita. Both saws had an average cut speed of 0.43 seconds. Again, these results point to the three saws that are very closely matched. obviously considering speed, stroke, and powerful motors that obviously will maintain the speed through the application. The DeWalt was only a 1/10 of a second behind, which is still within 10% of the other two saws. We did the nail embedded results, and this was a more aggressive test, and that winner was the Makita. In this test, Makita was the clear winner with an average cut of 49.4 seconds, followed closely by the Milwaukee with 52.6 seconds, about a 6% difference. And the bigger surprise here was the results from the DeWalt. So the DeWalt posted an average cut of 75.8 seconds. That's 25% slower. The DeWalt wasn't able to keep up in the blade speed under difficult cutting applications. Over the course of the day doing demolition, this extra time could make a difference. Maybe it doesn't. We looked at test results, our test results versus manufacturer's specifications. We want to compare them. We often get questions about the actual tool performance versus these published specifications. So one of the things you look at, you got to consider is reciprocating saws have two major variables. One is speed, strokes per minute, and the other is stroke length. And that's the distance that the blade is going to travel. Theoretically, saws that go the fastest and have the furthest blade travel should cut material faster than saws with lower values or lesser values. So for this assumption to hold true, the saws would need to have the same power output for their motors, obviously. So right here, I'm going to show you a chart. The chart shows the stroke length in inches, and we multiplied the stroke speed in strokes per minute. So we did that to define the total stroke length per minute. So one very important thing that you need to note about this chart is that the speed of the saw from the published data, from the manufacturer, low node speed. In other words, that there's no pressure, there's no cutting pressure, so the saw is just allowed to go. The next chart I'm going to show you is the total rankings of our 3 tests with our Toolbox Buzz crew. And that was calculated by adding up the scores of all 3 tests. So Makita got a 3 because it placed first in all 3 categories, in all 3 tests. 1, 1, 1 equals 3. The lower the total score, the better the saw did in all 3 tests. And this is just relative ranking to show how they did on the speed tests. The published results seem to kind of follow our test results pretty well. And it's very important to note that we only tested 3 tests. We only did 3 tests with these saws. There are arguably thousands of tests you could perform on these recip saws with different results, I'm sure. But what is very important to realize is that published specs on a saw or a tool do not always result in the same performance when used on a job site. And that's what we're trying to show you here. So when we put the DeWalt to a heavy-duty cutting application, it didn't do as well as the other 2, even though on paper it appeared to be very similar. So when you compare the specs, they all look the same, don't they? And you're making your decisions like, oh, now which one do I buy? Well, guess what? This test will show you which one to buy. The ergonomics of power tools is vitally important, and we took a look at that for performance and user productivity. We ranked the 3 saws with regard to ergonomics from comments from our Toolbox Buzz crew, our group of testers, using the tools during the tests above. We evaluated the tools based on the following. We looked at things like grip and overmold. Obviously, balance and vibration are huge. Blade change and how easy or hard that was. Battery location, LED light. We considered weight and controls. And the last thing we considered was a rafter hook or lack of, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The Milwaukee came in first overall for ergonomics. It scored first place for the overmold, the balance, the vibration, and battery location, as well as LED light, weight controls, and its rafter hook. It did great on ergonomics. It finished second place for blade change feature and came in third for its grip. Also, this saw features a one-key system, and that, if you're not familiar with one-key, it allows you to customize the saw's blade speed using a one-key app. This can make a difference when you're cutting performance and vibration. Makita came in second overall for ergonomics. It scored first place for weight and its rafter hook. And its rafter hook was actually tied with Milwaukee. It came in second for its grip, overmold, balance, vibration, and battery location, as well as its controls. and it finished third place for the blade change and LED. Third overall was the DeWalt, which finished first in grip and blade change features. It came in second place for LED light and finished third in its overmold, its balance, vibration, and battery location, its weight, and obviously its controls. This saw does not have a rafter hook, which we think was a really big oversight by DeWalt. We looked at cost and value on these saws, and it's always hard to compare pricing of a cordless tool, especially when manufacturers package them differently, kits, spare tools, various size batteries, so on and so forth. The DeWalt DCS 388B, it comes as a bare tool for $179. Combined with a 9 amp hour battery pack and charger, it's $207, and that's going to give you a total price of $386. The Makita 272120, that bare tool's in at $249. Combined with a 9 amp hour battery charger, it's $199 for a total price of $448. And lastly, the Makita XRJ06Z, and that's a bare tool at $190. When you combine that with a pair, you need two, a pair of 5 amp hour batteries and a charger, that's $259, and that's going to come in at total price of $449 total. So when it comes to pricing and value, we have to give that ranking and best value to DeWalt. Also, if you look around, there are some really great deals right now for the DeWalt batteries. And that 9 amp hour battery double pack for $199, which makes an incredible deal. All things considered though, for about $60 more, which isn't a lot when you're spending this much money anyway, you can get into either of the other two saws. And considering how well they performed in our tests, you have a tough choice to make. That's a really hard choice. Obviously, if you're in one of those other platforms, then the decision is much easier for you and you should stick to your platform. I want to talk about that One-Key system for a minute with Milwaukee, because there are other features. It gives other features that the other saws can't do. It allows you to track your tools to your last known location. Like I said, you can set custom blade speeds to match blades with base material. For instance, with this feature, you can cut through materials like stainless steel and cast iron far more efficiently and safer than without the feature. The One-Key feature also allows a softer start to kind of get the cut started. And a great feature that I love is a cut break. And basically, once you finish cutting through that metal pipe, boom, the blade stops. Really nice. All right, let's talk about the overall winner for the best reciprocating saw. We had a tie between Makita and Milwaukee. We should probably say the winner of this test is probably you, the contractor, who now can buy a cordless reciprocating saw that can easily keep up with us cordless ancestors. This test was so very close, and when we compared all the categories we evaluated, it was really tough. So to calculate the final scores, we ended up using a numbered system, or a number system. And we looked at every category. So for instance, we gave a 1 for first place, 2 for second, 3 for third, for each component in each category. And then we would add them up. So the speed test, the ergonomics, pricing, all that stuff, we would add the total score, and the lowest number won that category. That's how we got to our winners. So let's talk 18 volt. Both Makita and Milwaukee stayed true to their core users, and they stuck to their 18 volt platform. They didn't push users to go to a different battery platform to get the amount of power performance they needed. They figured it out with their own platform. While Makita's double battery configuration is a bit bulky, the performance speaks for itself. It crushed these tests. Milwaukee did a great job with one high demand 9 amp hour battery, and they scored big on this test. And they're a lighter saw. So, look, we didn't consider this as an overall evaluation, but if you consider the One-Key system, which is advanced electronics and features and an app on that Milwaukee, you could argue that that might be the best overall choice for you. It depends on what you do. If you're in that Makita platform, boom, this is a no-brainer. So second place, or last place in this, is the DeWalt. The DeWalt saw is an excellent saw. It lagged behind the Makita and Milwaukee slightly in our testing. It does come in a little bit cheaper, and it's better on the pricing. The saw boasts one of the best grips in the industry. Look, we feel that it's absolutely missing an important feature. And without a rafter hook, it's lacking. DeWalt has done this on a bunch of their new FlexVolt tools, and I really think it's a big miss for them. The other downside to this tool is that you have to run it only on 6-volt battery packs. And it's not going to run on your older 20-volt packs that have been around for quite some time. So you got to consider all of this stuff. So final thoughts on this test. In the past few months now, we've reviewed 12 cordless reciprocating saws. And the top 2 overall of all 12 is the Makita XRJ06Z and the Milwaukee 2721-20. These 2 saws are impressive respect to power performance. I was trying to say both at the same time. They clearly are designed to handle any commercial or residential application. And while DeWalt finished in second place, it's still a workhorse that you can't ignore. So I guess the big takeaway from all of this testing is the fact that most of the cordless saws perform at a level consistent with older corded reciprocating saws, except for these 3. These 3 are just crushing the tests. Cordless reciprocating saws have finally cut that cord, and we can all benefit from it. And if you haven't bought one yet, it's time you cut the cord. Free yourself and move around the job site with these, man. This is unbelievable power and performance, these cordless recips. Look, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Just click that button below. Check out the article online at toolboxbuzz.com because it has more graphs and more detail than I could do in the video. Even though I try to talk fast to cover it all, the article is always way more in-depth. Guys, we'll see you at the next head-to-head review. I'll see you soon. Take care.